Within the last couple of weeks, we've seen some layoffs in the games industry, and some studios out of Xbox are already been told that they need to find a new home or be unemployed. So let's get straight into the state of things now and this misconception that I keep seeing going around of people saying that we should feel bad about the people that are getting laid off in the industry. Hi, my name's Oj. If you've been here for a while, you know what's coming because I've been saying this for a little over maybe a year or two now, which is the games industry's in a bad spot. And one of the biggest issues is people are not making games for gamers. So we had just in the past couple of weeks a shutdown out of Luna Abyss that gave us this amazing gem out of their game.
That's a good job, well done, lass. Thanks for your help.
I'm a they, not a she.
Begging your pardon, I meant no disrespect.
I don't think anyone's quite surprised that they have all lost their jobs at this point. Xbox told Compulsion Games, the folks behind South of Midnight, that they're going to be out of a job soon. Ninja Theory, the folks that made Hellblade, which their last game was basically a tech demo that only lasted for a few hours, that they need to find a new home. And Double Fine, which made Psychonauts, which was like pretty positive back in the day. People were really excited about Psychonauts 2, but after that that came out and basically they kept making games, apparently. I actually didn't know this because none of their games were actually seemed interesting to basically anyone. And spoiler alert, when you don't sell games, you don't get to stay in business as a game studio. And not to be outdone, Sony decided to jump in and do a bunch of layoffs for Bungie. And that was the thing that really pushed a lot of people into the sphere of being like, oh no, they were actually really great developers that lost their jobs. And let's get straight into it. Let's say I have 10 amazing developers. All 10 of those people can make a 10 out of 10 indie game. But if I put them all on a team and they make a bad game, can we really say that they are good developers? Because what they have produced is bad. Now, a lot of the people that are losing their jobs, they could potentially go and like make their own game for whatever niche kind of thing that they want and be successful as an individual game developer. Or they can leave the industry entirely, or they can try and get another job at another game studio, which good luck right now. And whenever this happens, I keep seeing people on Twitter that are coming out that are saying, oh no, this is really terrible and this is awful and all these poor people. And as someone that's been laid off a lot, because I was going after a lot of, startup game studios back at the beginning of my career, it's all on us collectively to make these games good. Now, with game studios, you can have like really amazing departments in various like spots. Hell, you can have an entirely great game as like a studio, but if people don't buy it, whether it's because like another product comes out that's very similar, that's better, people choose that. That used to be like the big concern for like console games for the longest time, where people would say, okay, we are going to ship this game on this date. It'll be like 2 years from now. We'll print it to disc and we'll send it to market. And then like a year and a half in, you'd find out that another studio is making a very similar game and they're launching like a month or two before you. And at that point, you were just cooked. Like you were done. There was a very real possibility that if that game was just even slightly better than yours, it would basically guarantee that your studio would at least be hit with layoffs, if not totally shuttered. So in the current landscape, we have more tools than ever. We have better education. We have like AI tools coming out, which I know a lot of people hear AI and they're like, oh no, that's ruining art. But AI is really, you can utilize it pretty well as an artist to say, hey, can you program these things for me? And then either get it running well enough for your purposes to where you can, send it off to another developer or see if you can get someone to work with you on a project that you couldn't have done before. Like programming is such a difficult task for most people, especially when it comes to games where you're dealing with like, whether you wanted to get it on Steam Deck, if you want to get a controller support, if you want to be able to support like different modes of input, like controller and keyboard and mouse, all these things, that can be really time consuming for anybody, especially someone that's not used to it. And now we've got these tools that are coming out that are just able to somewhat do it for you well enough where you can get you off the ground and really feel the idea that you're trying to get made in a game. That is the state that the industry is in when it comes to creativity, where we have the ability to get a lot more done than we could ever before, yet we still have these studios with hundreds of people that are not producing anything. The big thing where people were really getting, up in their feelings about was Destiny. They were like, oh no, they should be making Destiny 3. They should be doing this. They should be doing that. All those people that got laid off, all that they could do was drive Destiny into the ground. That was their collective capacity. They could not get Marathon off the ground and really successful. They as a team, even if there may be individuals in that layoff group that are really great at their jobs, which realistically there probably are a lot of people that are very good at their jobs in those groups. But when we collectively do not succeed, we are all collectively punished in the games industry. And it is the case with most jobs and industries and companies. If you have like everyone doing their job well, then you have one group that's just super bad, that can tank everything. The biggest issue that we've been seeing is largely people making stories that are extremely safe. We have people making stories that are based around things that nobody really cares about, that really, gets people turned off from worlds. People don't take risks. There are so many things that are all put together that are very forward facing to you, the consumer, that the industry is just really, really bad at. And because we bloat these studios up with these sizes, especially after like the pandemic, where everyone was thinking that people were going to just spend 10x on entertainment forever, where they just hired hundreds of extra people. And then they were like, okay, well, we'll just add more layers of middle management. We'll add more meetings. It slows everything down. It makes things really unbelievably slow. And that, while those people might have had a good salary and like pretty good benefits for a while, that does not last. You have to keep making a good product and keeping people engaged, whether it is making new games or whether it is making DLC for existing games, whether it's running events and like getting content out for, your live service games, whatever it may be. That's your job. That's what you got to do. You need to connect with your audience and like really get them to enjoy things. And we have so many people in the games industry right now that actively hate you guys, the people that are consuming the games. They look at gamers and they say, oh, those awful gamers, like, oh, it's a slur. It's a terrible thing. Because honestly, they're just idiots. Like there's no excuse for anyone to like go after and start attacking like your consumer. It doesn't work anywhere on earth. So I don't understand where we got into this situation in the games industry where so many people will put out their real name. They'll put out the title that they are working under at some like company and they're like working on some big thing. And then they'll go out and they'll just say, I hate all of fill in the blank group. It's usually white folks, maybe it's straight folks, men, like whatever it may be. And that's not ever how it has worked. We all know this, but for some reason we have these, bubbles inside these game studios that are just terrible. And with a lot of these layoffs, we'll see some studios where they just get like full out cut, but we're going to see more targeted layoffs like we're seeing out of like Bungie. I'm kind of shocked they still have anyone working there. I'm going to be super honest. I don't like, I can only imagine they're going to keep tapering that place down until it's just a skeleton crew that's running Marathon and Destiny 2 to keep the money printing for like the few people that are still in there. But there's so many other studios that need to be, it's not like a scalpel. They just need to take a chainsaw to it. We did see some positive news. We had some layoffs a while back. Remember when they hit Epic Games and they were like, Fortnite. Okay, Fortnite is getting all these layoffs. And people were like, I can't understand. Like Fortnite was making like so much money and all this amazing stuff. And now what is Fortnite adding? It is adding jiggle physics. That's a pretty positive move forward. I think we can all agree on that. Like this is something that actually gamers want. Like as someone that's like an avid Nikkei player, like physics is very important. You need physics and all the right things. You need it in your combat and in your actual like player models. That's something that players, they want to see, they want to experience, and they don't want to deal with being told when they want to look at an attractive character that they're actually evil, and actually all women look like middle-aged men with the square jaws and are like extra beefy, and like that's, no one wants to play that. And the people that do want to play that are probably going to be getting laid off soon, so it's going to be great for all of us. I have, like, as someone that works in games, I really want the games industry to be in a healthy place. It is great for me to be able to continue working in this field, to have more options to work on different games. And if we have these places that are able to get rid of a lot of these activist individuals and people that actually actively hate gamers, we are all in such a better place. Everyone wins in this situation. And with a lot of these layoffs that we're seeing right now, while we will have people that are good at what they do that leave the industry potentially permanently, like realistically, you may have some that leave just for a certain amount of time. I think we can all hope that some of those people that are really talented actually are able to go into the indie space and try and make something that's really fun. Because even if you make an indie game and it's not selling like 1 million copies, like if you make something that's, makes like even like 1,000, 2,000 people really happy to play it, that's a huge win. It makes your resume look better. It makes people actually happy to play the game. And that's really what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to make entertainment that makes you guys happy. We want, like, ideally you come home, you play a game and you're like, I get to escape the real world. You don't want to be like, playing Sonic and then have, Sonic stop and look back at the screen and be like, I'm going to tell you this like social issue that like, the writers told me to say. No one wants to see that. It takes you out of the experience. It makes you hate the medium. It makes you hate all game developers because it feels like all of them hate you. And no, not all of us like hate gamers. We just have like these very stupid people that are in a lot of these studios that are they're just like, yeah, do whatever you want. Because, to be realistically, super real here, we have a lot of clusters of people in some of these companies that are basically unfireable because of, various traits where HR is just like, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. And the only way you get rid of those people is in these layoff waves. So I'm hoping that a lot of these activists, a lot of these people that are anti-game, whether they be, working on like Halo, saying like, I actually hate guns and I don't want shooting to be like part of, whatever, like those kinds of people, we want them all to go. All of us, all around. I think we all want to see great games for everyone. You will have some people that'll be like, oh, I want my better games here, and I hope the bad games go to the other console that I don't like. I actually don't care. I think you should largely play whatever way you want. Unless it's Nintendo. Nintendo hates everyone equally. So, like, it's just, part of the way it goes. But we will see how things keep going. I'm hoping that Xbox is able to lay off a lot more people. I hope they lay off the right people. And for the folks that are actually good at what you do, that are losing your jobs, I hope your severance is great. I hope that you are able to, get over the shock of what's going on, whether you find another job in the industry or whether you're able to like hunker down and work on something that's actually really cool and to try and get that out there so that people can potentially enjoy it and, have fun again. Not like jump into the game and see like 1 billion skin packs that you need to purchase. Like, let's just make games that are fun, that people want to play. And that would be another golden age for us, because right now, all the creativity's in the indie space. So if we can get more people in there making even greater things, everyone wins. But that's all for today. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again in a future video. Farewell.